Hi everyone. First of all, I'm sorry for any child noise. I am sick and I don't want to wait till they go to bed to record this. Um, so this week we're doing a reflection on chapter 7-8 of the Universe Next Door. Um, and I'm going to talk about chapter 8 on the New Age worldview. One part that really stood out to me is the idea that the individual is God and that reality is something that we create through our own um brain, really through our own what's the word, consciousness. And Sire talks about how New Age spirituality, I can't say that right now, apparently teaches that once we reach a higher level of awareness, we realize our own divinity and we can like shape reality. That idea honestly feels very familiar in the culture we live in. You hear things like manifesting and just, you know, I don't know, like it's just it feels very familiar even without going to the extremes that it felt in the lectures and in the reading. It's I think a lot more common than we realize. Um, what really kind of made me stop and think about it a little bit more is that this view can kind of become self-defeating. Like it can kind of tear you down. If I create my own reality and truth, then what happens when someone believes the opposite of me? If every single person is God, then how can every one of you be right if you disagree? And that kind of connects back to the lecture when they're talking about relativism and how denying um truth creates its own contradictions. um in my own experience, especially working in like a school setting, I see a lot of spiritual but not religious, and I think obviously in that setting you're not allowed to share your religious preferences, but you're allowed to just be a spiritual person. um there's a desire for meaning in every person, I believe, or not every person. If anything, that the readings this last few weeks have taught us is that not every person has that desire. Um, but I lost my train of thought. Oh, but not necessarily a meaning for or a desire for the truth. Like we want to find the meaning, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a truth. Um, I understand the appeal of this week's chapters a bit more, like the New Age spirituality. Um, it does have more appeal to me and felt much less unsettling than what we've read about in the past. Like nihilism was very unsettling for me to read about. Um, but I I think that New Age spirituality almost feels empowering, and to think that you are responsible for your own reality and it's all within your control. But then at the same time, when life gets hard, like there's a loss or something just completely unfair happens, it doesn't feel like enough to just say I just created it this way, like that. I guess I don't know, that just can't quite wrap my head around that part. um this chapter kind of made me think more seriously about whether a worldview can actually explain reality as it is and not just like how we want it to be. Because this feels very much like how we want it to be. Also, I part of what I was thinking when I was reading this, honestly, is it gives kind of culty vibes. Um, especially in the lecture when I was watching the lecture video before doing the reading. I'm like, I think a lot of cult leaders have this kind of thinking, and that's concerning that it's not far off. um, but yeah, I look forward to seeing your guys' video, and I hope you have a great week.